all cozied up to tell you the story of how I was carjacked, kidnapped, and almost toast. Some of you may have seen my recent post about it, but here's a photo for reference. And to the men in the comments, yes, I did look like a demented alien, but I want you to know I could still steal your girl. So without further ado, here's part 1. It was Friday the 13th of last month. Of course, it was Friday the 13th. I didn't realize that until after the fact, but it made total sense. I would like to make a couple disclaimers. Going into something like this, I know everybody is going to hear certain details about this story and think, what the fuck? Like, I would have done this way different. I want you to know I would too. I would too. You cannot really prepare for something like this until I didn't think something like this could ever happen to me, to be honest with you, and then it did. So in the situation, you might think like, what were you thinking? And me too. I look back and I'm like, what was I thinking? And the answer to that is nothing. I was reacting to a trauma response. I was in fight or flight or freeze, and I was a bit of a freezer. However, I survived. So whatever I did to survive, that's on me, and I made it out alive. So, you know, at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. I got a lot of people telling me I should have had a pew-pew, and I think I get where you're coming from, but I think as you hear the actual story, you'll realize that would have actually really made it a lot more dangerous. This did not happen in some dark alleyway or anywhere that I would have never expected that I was in danger. It was a very freak thing to happen, and it would have, if I had a pew-pew, it would have been close range and I was outnumbered, so it just would have been a disaster. So I just needed to say that before we get started. And like, it already happened, so people telling me like, oh, you should have done that, it's just like, it already happened, okay? So I can't go back and change it. I understand. I should have learned self-defense. I should have done this and that, the other thing, but this is just the story. So enjoy the story, don't enjoy the story, I don't care, I'm telling it. So it was around 7:15, 7:30, and it was still light outside. I was just gonna walk across the street to a convenience store and grab a vape and get some change made for a bill that I have to pay. So I walk across the street like I always do. I realize that I am 20 cents short. So I say, no problem, I will run back to my car. As I'm in the parking lot heading there, I look down, I see a dime. So I'm like, all I need is a dime. Someone will surely give me a dime. I was lazy, I didn't want to run back to my car. So I look up, I see 2 strangers. There's a man and a woman. They were both very big, by the way. I looked up, the man was already making eye contact with me, and so I just was like, yo, dude, do you have 10 cents? These two, it was this big man and this big, very masculine woman that was very scary looking, by the way. Very crazy eyes, shaved sides of her head, intimidating, we'll say that. And so she was kind of like hitting him, and they were in some sort of little debacle. I kind of regretted immediately asking for 10 cents because it seemed like, I don't know, a big deal. So he was like, nah, you know, like kind of looking at her. And I was like, no problem, guys. I will go and get it from my car across the street. Also, side note, yes, why didn't the convenience store just give me the dime or whatever? I was making bills out of change, and so I think that's why. I don't know. Take it up with them. So he sees that I'm walking back to my car, and he goes, no, wait. Like, they had been talking about something, so I don't know. And he goes, wait, here you go. And he hands me a 5. And so I go back into the convenience store, make my change, and then I give him the $4.90 or whatever. At this point, the woman starts being very aggravated and like, bitch, I don't want your fucking change and all this stuff. And so it was clearly an issue. She didn't want $4.90. I don't know what they were expecting. Apparently, I thought it was his money. Apparently now he's saying, oh, that was hers. We're gonna need a bill back, basically. I say, not a problem. I don't want to start shit because they're very, this woman in particular, very aggro, like I said. So I say, no problem. I will run across the street to the car. To which the girl said, nah, we're going to follow you because she thought I was going to like run off. Again, yes, over a dime, over her wanting to get a full bill. Yeah. I assure them that I will just get in my car and drive to them and hand them $1. That wasn't good. So they proceed to like follow me. So I'm ahead of them and they're a little bit behind me and they're kind of following me. And so I'm trying to like scurry to get in my car, to pull out and just hand them the $1. I feel like the reason that she wanted bills instead of the change was probably because she was trying to buy some illegal substances. So I clocked that because she looked a little tweaky, a little tense. So I didn't want to frustrate her more in her pursuit of that. So I grabbed $1, ready to hand it to them. I'm like pulling out of my building's driveway. Didn't even pull out yet. They approach the car and they just get in. They just get in. All casual like, and I'm just taken aback, okay? What's up, guys? So we've got big girl next to me, big dude right behind me, and they motion like they're holding. And big girl says, new plan, you're gonna drive us. At this point, I'm trying to, I think in my head, I'm like, if I calm and I try to give them an out, basically, so that they don't have to do this, because I know what's about to go. I don't know what's about to go down, but it obviously at this point, I'm threatened. Strangers are in my car. And so I say, listen, I don't really have time for this. Dinner's cooking back at home. People are going to be looking for me soon. Rain check? I don't know. No, I'm kidding. I didn't say rain check, but I was, trying to give them the option to not hold me up and make me drive. They didn't take that. So she then says, if you want to live, and I can't talk like them, okay? So I'm going to this is the message of what she was saying. If you want to live, you will drive. If you don't want, you will drive. And so I drove. She says it's right across the street or right up the street. It's not. So I already live in a very bad part of town. But it's again, this is happening in a very public area. There's a little park right here with kids running around. It's still daylight. People are walking around. So she makes me drive and we're headed to an even gnarlier part of town. It's very scary. And that's just the beginning. So get ready. There's probably going to be a lot of parts to this, but that's okay. It's a long story. It's pretty intense, so buckle up.